Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Evening People Show. You could have been anywhere in the world tonight, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. Let's go. All right, peoples, welcome back to the Evening People Show. I'm your host, Martin Matthews, and we're going to have a nice show for you today. It's going to be quick because my guest tonight is a woman of few words. Now, a lot of guests I have on the show, they want me to, they usually don't. They're pretty cool peoples. But this particular guest wants me to, like we say in Jamaica, dumb down her credentials. She doesn't want me to talk about what she does. She doesn't want me to talk about how awesome of a person she is. I got her on the show by creating a narrow channel of things that we're going to talk about today. But she's so much more than we're going to talk about. My guest is none other than Venice Williams-Gordon. Now she's a, what should I say, partner. She's an attorney at Lewis Smith Williams and Company. I'll have her find those points out for you if she chooses to when she gets on. She's also contributed to the Observer. Now, she wrote an article in the Observer the other day, and I read it, I liked it, and I was like, you know what? This is something that's so valid at this time that I wanted to explore it some more. So I invited her on the show today, and we are going to look into that. The topic was obtaining financial assistance after death. Obtaining financial assistance after death. And she went into it, looked at it from several angles, etc., etc. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to introduce my guest to you, none other than Venice Williams-Gordon. Hi, Venice.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good.
It's so lovely to see. I thought we were going to do our British accents, mate. What happened?
Oh, yeah. No accent today.
No accent tonight?
No.
All right, so I'm just going to jump right into it, Ven, because I know how you do. So we're just going to jump right into it. Now, dealing with loss of loved ones can be very traumatic, especially at this time when some people seem to be losing a lot of people. Now, it's usually a time that important decisions have to be made, but a lot of times persons are not in the right state of mind to make these decisions. What would you say is one thing or a couple of things that people need to avoid if they do lose someone in this time?
Okay. All right. So first thing, when they talk about death, it's somber. Persons are usually just not in the right frame of mind, and they want to do the best burial ever, especially in Jamaica, where I'm at. They would say no dibby burial, right? So they want to make sure that their loved ones are properly laid to rest. And so we tend to put all of our emotions into it and go ahead and think who we can get some money from, especially now with COVID. This is so relevant to me because some family has 2-3 deaths, and that is not easy to deal with. And so persons will think to go to the bank to borrow money. They will go to microfinance companies. Their interest rates are usually ridiculous, without thinking practically, And so what they need to do is to ensure that they have someone around them who is actually firm,
Mhm.
even in stress. And if you don't have that loved one, then find an attorney, somebody. If you have a family member who is an accountant, just somebody who can direct you in
Mhm.
making sound financial decisions, especially now
Mhm.
when funds are limited. So
All right,
that's
because
that's
I think what you and if everybody, especially if I think like the person who everybody usually defaults to, if that person is hit hard and is going through emotionally, then it's
mhm,
almost like everybody is gonna feed off that, and then
correct.
the train is off the track, it's running down, about to turn over, but somehow everybody is still hitched to that person because that's who they usually default to. But sometimes in that time, that's not the person to default to because they're no longer the professional, the one with their head screwed on. They're the ones that
Correct.
experiencing trauma, that has experienced the loss and is going through it just like you are.
Correct. That's correct.
All right. Now, if assistance is needed to bury a deceased, how important is it to for the registration of the actual death? And what are some time limits, or what are some of the times that you need to be conscious of?
Okay, so in our jurisdiction, which is Jamaica, in order to bury someone, that person has to be registered, and registration is usually done at the Registration General's Department, which is RGD in short.
Mhm.
So after the doctor has pronounced and have given the certificate, then you need to take that to the RGD department. That place is located in Spanish Town, and you
Mhm.
have one downtown Kingston.
Okay.
You can do those applications online as well.
That's good.
rgd.gov.jm.com, and you can get all the information there as to how to apply for death certificates. Once you have that pink slip, it's usually a pink slip that you get from the doctors from the hospital. You
Mhm.
take that to the RGD department and pay the relevant fees, which is 1,500 Jamaican dollars,
Okay.
and that will get you one certified copy death certificate.
Mhm.
I always say get three for various reasons. The extra copy will cost 500 Jamaican dollars each. So that is another 1,500 JD, which is 3,000 Jamaican dollars.
Mhm.
For the US people who are listening, that is about, I would say, $5,
It's not
Martin.
a lot. It's not a lot at all. It's
Exactly.
not a lot at
So
all.
that's like $5.
Mhm.
So don't think, oh my God, so much money.
I know, right?
Right. So that's the process before you start anything, and you need that to bury the person. You
Mhm.
need the burial order to bury the person.
Now, in the article, you mentioned that it is, well, you said apply for three certificates of that.
Yes.
Why do they need the three? Okay, you actually answered that already. Look at you. All right. Let's
No,
say,
no, I didn't really in full. So you need the extra copies because
Mhm.
of you may need to use it at the bank.
Okay.
The bank may not need the bank may not accept a photocopy because of fraudulent reasons. You may need a copy for the court just in case the deceased leave a will, and of course you may need to retain a copy just in case you may need it for future use because you don't get those back from the court. It is kept for record keeping.
And they don't take a copy.
No, they don't.
Okay. All right. I see. I see you. I see you. All right. Let's say the deceased had insurance. Um, what would be the, let's say they have a policy, they had a policy. All right. What would the bank or whoever they're insured is, or whoever they're insured with, need before they release the funds? And is that different? Is the requirement different for different institutions?
Okay, yes. So if the deceased die leaving a life insurance policy and the deceased name a beneficiary, then the beneficiary will need to take the death certificate along with the policy to the insurance company to make the claim for the
Does it have to be that person?
Yes, it has to be.
Okay.
Yes. If it is that the deceased did not name a beneficiary, then automatically it transfers to the estate. So you can't walk into the insurance company with the death certificate asking for the money. You will not get it. The only time they will release that money is unless they have an order from the court. And the order has to either be a probate, if there is a will, or letters of administration if there is no will.
Okay. So I guess that's a double blind.
So there's another channel for that person, which is the Administrator General's department. So you need the money right this minute, but you can't get anything from the insurance company. The Administrator General can step in to just get the funeral grant amount, right? And when the policy is, when you get the grant from the court, then they will find a way how to regularize that portion, because under the legislation, it says that you're to pay, the first thing that you do with a deceased money is not to give the beneficiary go and buy a car,
right?
But is to pay just debts and expenses, funeral expenses. That's the first thing you do with the deceased's funds.
Or you should do. The first thing you should do.
Yes.
No shopping spree.
Right.
Go ahead, Ben.
You can get financial assistance from the NIS office, which is the National Insurance Schemes Office. They will assist you as well with burial grants. That is where, you're working for years, you're paying your government pension, and you pass. Again, with government offices, they will take that pink slip, which is the burial order. They're not as hard and fast as the financial institutions are. They will release funeral grants with that burial order. And if you're employed and you have some sort of insurance policy with your employer, your wife, your child, if named as beneficiary, can seek to claim on those funds, but you must show proof of death.
What are, like, okay, so grandma passed, God forbid, but you know, so grandma used to work at this place one time. You knew that she used to pay toward a pension plan. You think she has something somewhere. You're not sure. You can't find no paper. Where would you even go to get this process started?
Okay, so the first place you go is to the National Insurance Scheme. Once you know her date of birth, where she last worked, and sometimes we have, well, all of us do have, once we're working at NIS number, if they can find that, then that's cheese. Also, TRN. If grandma has a TRN number, which is a taxpayer registration number, it for short is TRN. That's a Jamaican number, similar to your social security number. Once they have that too, they can find the deceased's information.
Okay. And then once they do that, then they can get the ball rolling and figure out who actually has the right to do what.
Yes.
Okay. In the case where they're not insured, what are some of the options available to them? Does anyone have the option, or who exactly meets the criteria to get whatever benefits they are available for uninsured?
Okay, so say there is no insurance, but the deceased has a joint bank account with you. The right of survivorship would apply, which means that the last man standing would benefit from all the funds that is left in that account.
Okay.
And so remember previously we speak about the first thing that you really should do. So we're just gonna hope that that person who is jointly who holds the account jointly with the other person will do just that. and withdraw the funds and pay the funeral expenses and not buy a car first.
Not buy a car first. This is important, folks. Don't buy the car first. Make sure the funeral expenses are taken care of first before you buy a car. Now, anything else that's available to anyone that that was not insured or had a policy?
As means of quick cash, no, those are it. Pension, life insurance, joint account with the bank. If there is an account and you can't access for yourself, then the Administrator General's department will step in for you and make that application to the bank to get the funeral sums only. And thereafter, you'll be required to do the rest of the necessary things. The outside of that, if you have a friend that will lend you money, say the deceased has money, but you don't have access to it,
Right.
but there is a will. Say you have no time, the Administrator General's office is moving slowly, your deceased person need to bury. You can borrow some money from a friend. After that, if there's a will, you make an application in the court. Once you get the grant of probate, you take that grant to the bank and you can get the sums and you can pay back, rather than going to a microfinance company with a 40% interest rate per annum.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, okay. All right, good to know, good to know. All right, let's see. If the deceased has a will at the time of death, what steps does the family need to take to secure the assets or to make sure that will is executed as the deceased intended?
Okay, so the first thing to do is to ensure that the will is authentic, right? Once you ensure that, then a lot of people go through grief differently. Some people sit on the estate for years. There is a penalty actually for that. The law allows you 3 years. Failure to make your grant of probate within the 3-year period, you start accumulating interest, which is death taxes due to the government, right? And it's 6% per annum. So it really adds up, right? So what will happen is that you would take that will to a lawyer, preferably a firm of attorneys. Guys, trust me on this. Why it is important to go to firms. When you go to a one attorney, that attorney is not, if she should pass, then all what you have paid get ties up into his or her law practice. However, if you go to a firm with more than one attorneys as partners, then if one person drop down, your matter still alive, your money is still good because it gets transferred to other attorneys within the firm, right? So it's good to go to a firm of attorneys, give them the will, they will start the process. The process, unfortunately, in Jamaica, it takes 6 months to a year to get a grant of probate or letters of administration. If you have, if there's a dispute at all between relatives, and in Jamaica there is always disputes between relatives, you can protect assets in various ways. So one way is, say there is land, properties, but you are living in the States or in another country, but you actually don't trust a brother or you don't trust a sister with handling something. What you can do is to lodge a caveat against that property. So anything that is going on with that property, the registrar of titles have to get in touch with you, Martin, before they do anything at all with that property.
What's it called?
Caveat, lodging a caveat against the asset.
Okay. I'm learning, folks. I never heard that word before, ever. So I'm learning.
So what that does is to just stop everything. They have to notify you before they proceed to sell, transfer, whatever it is.
So if anybody comes and tries to lay claim to what's not theirs, they have to go
That's a
through.
way to
Not, but at
protect
the
it.
same time, what would you have to show that you are in a position to even have that caveat placed on the properties?
Okay, so you do affidavit, you say why. So with the caveat document, you have to give an affidavit as to why it is that you are making an assumption that something is about to happen or not. So you are required to do an affidavit and submit with the application. The registrar will vet it. If it's sound, then they will go ahead and lodge the caveat.
Interesting. Very
So say that
interesting.
person did something illegal or something shady
Mhm.
previously, and you have some proof of a receipt that they wrote which was not real. You can attach that to your affidavit as well. Anything at all you can attach as proof of
And
why you're doing what
that
you're doing.
protects it until you have the option to come and actually get it sorted.
Correct.
Excellent. Excellent. I didn't know any of these things. You see why the moment I saw this article, I had to ask some more questions because I'm sure not everybody out there knows all these things. And I appreciate you taking the time to come and educate us about it. Now, in a case where there is no will, oh, I think I just asked you that. Now, what if the deceased had like some critical illness policy or some other policy? Can any of this be turned into cash to assist the family with the death?
Sure. Okay. So the critical illness plan is usual stroke, heart attack, cancer, and stuff like that. So if you have a plan like that, usually it's when you find out that you have that, then you draw down on these plans, these insurance plans, right?
Mhm.
However, sometimes we pass without knowing that we have those illnesses or just drop down by a heart attack and die. So we didn't actually get to claim it.
Right.
Now, what insurance company does is to give back the family member what you have contributed to the
Okay.
policy, right?
Okay.
So of the $2 million, if you had this policy for 5 years and you paid 200,000 Jamaican dollars towards the policy, that's what you
Mhm.
get back.
Okay.
Because it doesn't operate like a normal life
Okay.
insurance
Correct.
policy where you get the full sum.
Mhm.
It's upon finding out that you have a critical illness.
Okay. I didn't
But
know.
but some of them have unique things about them, so it's best to speak with a life insurance agent to see if you could get the full amount, you know?
Depends on what's in the fine print.
Right.
Okay. All right. I have one more question for you in this section. Now, if you were to give families a families beware warning, as far as it relates to the loss of a loved one, what would that be?
Okay. Well, stop being afraid of making estate planning. Estate planning is very, very important because you just never know when you will pass. Some people get afraid when they hear will. They think that if them write one, them won't die. But it's very important to have these different instruments in place. Either a trust, if you have young children, you need to have a trust in place to protect your children. Sometimes we are not sure of the children parents, so the father or the mother to take good care. You can leave somebody else as trustee for the child to handle the funds to ensure that the child is properly taken care of. So, for example, if you have a mother or a father who is a drug addict, you may not want to prepare a will leaving your asset to that person. And
Mhm.
so you can do proper estate planning by leaving a trustee, an aunt, whoever, an attorney, whoever it is that you think is best person to carry out your wishes. Also, if you're like, oh my God, I hate thinking about death,
Right.
or I don't want to write a will, you can do the brave thing by knowing what you want from the beginning in terms of who is the benefit. So you, Martin, as a parent, you have one daughter for now. What you would do is say, okay, I'm sure she's the person I'm giving all of my things to.
Mhm.
Immediately, you can do add her name to all the assets that you have. So if you should pass, God forbid, all she has to do is to note your death. So there is no issue as to estate, and that is estate planning as well. You add her to the asset, the house, the car, the bank account, stuff like that. So I
Okay,
would
so
say ensure that you do proper estate planning, write your will. It doesn't mean that you're gonna die. If you are afraid of writing your will because you think you're gonna die, then you need to add persons to different things. And the good thing with adding people to life insurance and those things, when you get upset with them, you can just take them off and put somebody else on.
right?
You break up with your wife, your husband, your children, just
You
not.
can't break up with the children, Vin. How that go? How that work?
No, you just take them off.
Okay.
If it is that you have a child that is just not doing what you want, or what, you just say, listen, I am not doing this with you.
You take them off, add somebody that no, and it's important because when you pass, you have no more control over the situation. It's
Exactly.
now left to whomever you entrusted to execute what you needed done. And it has to be somebody you trust.
Yes, and it cannot be the child who is the brightest child to take care of the one who is not so, because sometimes you have to look at children's attitude towards the next one. If they're mean, it means that they're going to be mean all the time.
Right.
And so you have to bear those things in mind when you're doing proper estate planning.
All right, Vin. Thank you so much. Now, Vin, let me tell you, yes, thank you for educating us and all of that. I learned a lot. But like you say, yeah, I'm not in any rush to do any of those things. I'm not afraid to write a will, but I have persons attached to whatever they need to be attached to.
So that's estate planning.
Yes, I do very much so
Yes,
have
it's
some.
just your way of doing estate planning, But as
Mhm.
soon as you become wealthy, I'm sure it's gonna be different.
Yes, I'll definitely get
And
that
I see
sorted
that
out.
in the near future. I'm seeing it.
I appreciate. You see, man, this is why we get along. This is why we get along. Now, you're on the Evening People Show, and on the Evening People Show, we have to read some poetry.
So
I
can
mean,
we cheers to the poetry before we
yeah, yes. Let's please
cheers?
cheers to the poetry. Yep, because yeah, we have to switch it up. We have to switch gears. We have to get some laugh and some smiles and some milder content in here too. Now, Venice came to my book signing, I think at Waterloo. Yes, was it the Waterloo,
Santano.
and she was in, and she was like, "Hi, Martin." She held up the book. "Hi, Martin. Bye, Martin," and she was gone. Like, I know you're a busy woman, but she was in. She just made sure I saw her. "Hi, Martin. Bye, Martin." Boom, and she was gone. Book in hand, gone. And that was cool because at least she came out, took a minute, drive down there, got her book, and was gone. So, with all that said, what are you gonna
But
read?
before that, Martin, I
Oh,
must say that you're an excellent writer.
oh, thank you so much.
You
Thank you so
are,
much.
you are. The poem I can, like this one that I'm about to read,
Mhm.
I feel everything. So I'm gonna read it how I feel the writer, who is writing it, okay?
Oh
So
boy.
I
Oh
might not be
boy.
saying
Oh,
it,
where we going now? Oh
I might
boy.
not be reading in my usual voice because I
Do
might be
please.
feeling
Yes,
something,
I know you're full of accents. You've lived in several countries over the years. I don't know which accent I'm gonna get, but hey, do what works for you. What are you gonna read for us today?
I'm gonna read Running Away.
Running away. Okay, running away. I love running away. If you have your book, and there's the book is back there somewhere. I never get this right. But it's at page 58. So if they were in church, they'd say turn your Bibles to on the Even People Show. Is it turn your book to number 58 in the book? And let's see what we got. Whenever you're ready, Ben, take it away.
Okay, here I am running away again. Just like the last time, I am running from myself. I can't really sit still and wait. It's like being lured to the gate. I thought Thought I've already turned the page, I still feel a latent rage. Will this boomerang ever come around? We sit in silence and still not a sound. Valid points, different views, words I promise not to use. Looking in the mirror of the past, how long will this silence last? Doing the right thing, anxious to start, arriving on time, stopped by the guard. I think I'm missing a key component. No one to blame but myself. One step forward, two steps back. Moving forward, not on track. Maybe it's time to stop and pray. Divine intervention to show the way. Oh my God. Now here I go again. On the outside looking in. Knowing I was wrong, but can't concede. Knowing what's needed to proceed. Yet, in the distance is a door. Yes. Yes. Being together has become such a chore. So I will keep running to places new. Maybe I'm really running away from you.
Yes, my dear, you handled that so well. I think I'm gonna go cut this video when I'm done and chop that piece out and post that by itself. That was awesome. That was awesome.
I felt like the writer was so exhausted.
I know, right? You see, and that, all right, well, let's do this. Let's get right into it. Let's get right into it. Now, running away seems like several permutations of entanglement. What are some of the things that came to mind when you read it the first time?
Okay. So I felt confusion, so first thing, let me let you know that this poem to me seems as if it's a relationship two people are in, eh?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like confusion, the person is confused as to what it is that they really want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to stay? Do I want to go? Yeah, that's what I'm seeing.
Nice. Now, and I must say, yeah, I like how you read that. I might have to have you read that another time. Now, let's use stanza 1 and 2, and I want you to give me a real scenario of what seems to be going on here. I'm going to reread 1 and 2, and my disclaimer is, folks, I cannot read 1 and 2 the way she did. I'm just going to read it. I don't have the panache that she has when she read it. So 1 and 2 says, "Here I am, running away again. Just like the last time, I'm running from myself. Can't really sit and wait. It's like being lured to the gate. Though I've already turned the page, I still feel a latent rage. Will this boomerang ever come around? We sit in silence, not a sound." Now, give me some real world scenario of what could actually be taking place here.
Okay, so I think it's a couple, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
In a relationship, and somebody wants to stay and somebody wants to go.
Okay.
But the person who wants to go don't want to say anything. They're trying to be there, but really don't want to be there. Is what I'm thinking.
All right, so it's like, okay, so they see the writing on the wall, but they don't want to actually address the writing on the wall.
Yeah, it's more like they don't want to commit. They don't want to commit to the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
one person wants commitment, the other person don't want to commit, is what I am seeing.
So one wants to stay, one wants to go.
Yes.
All right, so let's use that as our premise. Now, the next two stanzas give us a clearer picture of how the narrator feels about their role and what's going on. Now, I'm going to ask, how do they feel, and what outcome do you think they truly desire? But I'm going to reread 3 and 4, and it says, valid points, different views, words I promise not to use, looking in a mirror of the past. How long will this silence last? Doing the right thing, anxious to start, arriving on time, stopped by the guard. I think I'm missing a key component. No one to blame but myself. The questions are, how do you think they feel about the scenario? And what do you think they truly desire?
Okay, so these two that you have just read, pretty much somebody's now backed in a corner. So let me throw the scenario, what I'm seeing, visualizing the couple. Okay, so what I am seeing is valid points, different views. So here we are actually trying to do some self-reflection. We're trying to have a discussion about the craziness that's going on between us. Like, she has her points, he has his points, different views. It can also be that words I promise not to use could be that, okay, honey, we have a problem. Yes, I agree, we have a problem. So one person is actually saying that they have a problem. The other person is agreeing, but not necessarily want to agree. So
Kind of like your truth, my truth kind of deal.
yes, so they decide to go and get help. I'm thinking words I promise not to use. There's some discussion about how I treat you, how you treat me. Okay, let's see what we can do about our situation. This is what I'll do, this is what I'll not do, kind of a thing. So I think here is a self-reflection kind of thing. They're getting help, therapy, counseling, something is going on right here. But number 4 is the kick. Yeah?
Tell us about the kick.
Because you know you can't hide from your true self. It will eventually catch up on you, right?
This is true.
So the person who really don't want to be into the relationship now decides that, hey, we're gonna get counseling. Let's go.
Let's go.
But being there, they realize that their mind is not there. So for me, my interpretation of arriving on time, but stop by the guard, I think I'm missing a key component. Duh, you don't want to be there. You don't want to be there. So of course you're not. So in order for anything to work, you have to have a made up mind. And it's a couple, it has to be 2 minds made up for this to work. So it's gonna be obvious that, okay, you're just you just turn up at the counseling session, but you're not here.
Right.
Your body's here, but your mind is on the other side of town.
I know that song. Wait a minute, I know that song.
And of course, there's nobody to blame than yourself, because if you were honest, if you were of integrity, and say, listen, well, I need a name, a weird name, Merkel, I don't. Listen, Merkel, I don't want to be in this relationship with you. I know I have kids. I know I have the house, the car, the bus, and the truck, but you're driving me crazy. I don't want to be here with you. But no, he didn't do that, or Merkel didn't do that.
Right.
They pretended for the kids. They pretended for the assets. And now they're at this place where everybody wants to run away. Well, not everybody. There's always one person who wants to hang on.
Mhm.
There's always one person who wants to hang on, and
But
then the other person.
somebody's over it. They're
Yes,
ready.
and there is one person who wants to run away. So
Okay.
that's my interpretation thus
All
far.
right. Let's see this. Stanza 5 refers to praying for divine intervention. What would be the significance of divine intervention at this stage? I'm going to reread stanza 5. It says, one step forward. And before I reread stanza 5, let's look at everything that we've looked at before, just bearing that in mind. I mean, the other 4 stanzas, the explanation that Venice just gave about the scenarios that are happening. And then we move on to one step forward, 2 steps back, moving forward, not on track. Maybe it's time to stop and pray. Divine intervention to show us the way. Now, what is the significance of the mention of divine intervention at this stage?
Okay, so divine intervention for some people, it depends. So this is kind of, how may I say? So you know how some people look at kids asset, or if there's no kids, no asset, but there's time spent, years spent, that's important to them, right?
Mhm.
And so while that person is trying to let you go, you over here who is hanging on is praying, dear Heavenly Father, could you please, Heavenly Father, please just allow him, allow her to see that I am the one.
Hallelujah.
Right? But it's only one person praying. It's
Right.
not 2 person praying.
Right.
And so it's always important to understand when the story ends that you need to just pick up your marbles and go. If it's over, it's over. You can't resurrect the dead. If
Unless
it's
you are
dead, it's
Jesus.
dead. Right. So it pastors will tell you, pray, and they will come back, pray. Don't stop pray. Don't stop pray. I don't know. I
You know, come back in
it
God.
requires for anything to work, it requires 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
2 people, 2 willing people
True.
to get it to where you want it to be. So
Okay.
I think that divine intervention to show the way is 1 person divining, not 2. If you notice, it didn't say divine intervention to show us
Us
the
the
way.
way.
The way. Us is missing.
So it's not us that is seeking this
No,
divine intervention.
it's the person who is hanging on to the person who wants to leave.
And then okay. Then boy, you see why I wanted you on the show? Jeez. Luis. All right, now the last 2 stanzas mention quite a few things that affect modern relationships today. Right? The third line of stanza 6, for example, says, knowing I was wrong but can't concede. Expand on that concept for us and speak of its existence in modern relationships. Now, I'm going to reread stanza 6. Stanza 6 says, now here I go again. On the outside looking in, knowing I was wrong but can't concede, knowing what's needed to proceed. The question says, that stanza, it includes a lot of things that affect everyday people. I want you to zoom in on the line, knowing I was wrong but can't concede. Expand on that for me for how that affects modern day relationships.
Okay, so a lot of people, let me not say a lot of, but people in relationships sometimes have issue apologizing.
Mhm.
And so most times it's a power struggle between the parties involved.
Wait, I have a point of interjection here. Then I'm curious. I want to see. Okay, so you're going to be on the Even People show, but I know how you are, right? Me, actually, I can't say what I have on my bottom half. You're fully dressed, aren't you? I do it. Okay, carry on. I don't know where that came from. Carry on. It's no, but wait. I had somebody on the show before. And I asked him to stand up, and he was like, no, I cannot do that right now. That was so funny. All right, that was our intermission. Go ahead, Nadia.
All right. So, unfortunately, people tend not to want to apologize
Mhm.
in relationships. And so what that does is to create a kind of negative cycle um, around their relationship. And this is where I say, where it is that you have issues and you're not able to talk about it, and if you do talk about it, there is no apology. There is always a pull between the parties. Either one party shut down and allow the other party to win. And so it creates a cycle in their relationship, and it is a negative cycle. And so that happens every day. That happens to um, women who are in relationship being abused. Their partner hit them, and they will tell them that you caused it. You are the person that caused this to happen to you. I mean, if you had done this way, or say this that way, or if simple, what is that you're wearing on the Evelyn People show? I
Right.
mean, why didn't you wear a long pants? Cover your eyes.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my.
it's crazy how people, and usually I have this little saying that hurt people.
Mhm.
So if it is that you have underlying issues as a female, as a male, and you don't address them, then it shows up in your relationship. If it
Mhm.
don't show up today, it will show up tomorrow, and it shows up in how you treat your partner. And especially here in Jamaica, I can speak about is that the ratio of a man to a woman is like 10 man
Mhm.
to one woman,
Sure.
woman kind of a thing. And
Right.
so what that does is to allow men to feel like, you know, they're mature, they don't have to sit and struggle this through with you by next person. And so there is no remorse, there's no apology, there is no nothing. So that's modern. That's what is really happening now in terms of knowing I was wrong. But
Yeah, I can
why should
see.
I say I'm wrong? I don't need to say that. Next.
Right. Right. I feel you. All right, Vin. All right then. All right, let's do this then. Looking at the last stanza, would you say that this is a typical reaction or option that is being used in today's relationship, and does it affect one gender more than the other? And I'm going to reread that last stanza. Last stanza says, "Yet in the distance I see a door. Being together has become such a chore. So I'll keep running to places new. Maybe I'm running away from you." The question is, um, would you say that this is a typical reaction or an option that people use in today's relationship, and does it affect one gender more than the other?
Well, absolutely. It is so or today in today's world, there is no patience. Nobody has any patience with anybody.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna waste time trying to figure you out, um, trying to sit and make this work, or just sit and take your bullshit. I'm not doing that.
Mhm.
Um, I'm out. And so it's always easier to run away. It's
Mhm.
always easier to run away than to confront your fears, confront the situation, and deal with it.
Mhm.
And so, yes, it's the easiest escape route as it relates to, are you running away from me? No, actually, you're running away from yourself. Um, it's always easier to blame somebody for your ills rather than dealing with them,
Right.
especially for male. Males
Hey,
are,
hey, hey.
I think, are easier to go
Mhm.
because um, men are not always emotional. Sorry, let me rephrase that. men are not always easy to show their emotions in that regard.
Uh-huh.
Meaning, I need help. I need your assistance. I am at a point where I'm low.
Mhm.
I need you to understand what I'm feeling. It's rare that you will find a guy who will tell you that I'm hurt. This is how I'm feeling. I need help.
Right.
Whatever it is. So it's very difficult for a female to understand the root cause of
Mhm.
why this person is like that, because it's not generally communicated to the female. And so they keep running.
Right.
When they get to a point of commitment
Them
and
up and
it's
leave.
too serious, they're gone. So
You're
they
running and you're running and you're running away. Man say you're running and you're running and you're running away. I can't believe I never made this connection before. Running away. You're running and you're running. But you can't run away from yourself. That's what the man say. Let me
yeah.
stop before me get way, way carried away because I can't just get me singing, but you don't want that on the EV People Show today. But I'm sorry, you were saying. You were saying, my dear, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm saying that it is always that route that the male will take, because I don't want to be vulnerable. And in order for me to fix myself, it requires vulnerability. It requires me saying all the things emotionally that needs to be said
Mm-hmm.
to you. You know what I mean? So um, it's always easier to play tough and to leave, and they keep doing that until they're 60 and they have a stick now,
Mm-hmm.
and now they want settlement. They want to settle down now when they're 60 with a stick.
Nobody don't want him with a 60 with a stick because the other stick don't work anymore. Did I say that? I might have said that. Now I have a thing though. I have a there's another poem I wrote, not unpublished so far. It's gonna come out in book 2. And it talks about low hanging fruit. Now, are these low hanging fruit the source of the problem? The low hanging fruit is that person that is always ready. It's that female that just want a man, any man. Like
Yeah, yeah,
just known, just way too easy, all of
yeah,
that.
yeah. That's real, Martin. It's like a woman who is with a man who has no regard for himself, meaning, or a woman,
Mm-hmm.
um, always doing nothing. Um, it's easy for that person to put up with all the foolishness, right? Or you're with a person and you don't trust making sound decision,
Mm-hmm.
taking risk on yourself. You're not willing to take risk on yourself, and so you stay in that comfort zone of a relationship, because Venice will keep taking your bullshit while you're still out there reaching those low hanging fruits. And so females or male have to think, how is it that I need to improve myself? Improve, if I have low self-esteem issues, what it is that I need to fix with myself so I can get out of this relationship that is not healthy for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that foster this type of person in your poem. The other thing that foster this type of person in your poem is the low-hanging fruits of women who are not in a relationship, don't want to be in a relationship. They are out for money, a good time, and you, Martin, don't want to put in the work in
Right.
being vulnerable, in fixing your hurt self. Your hurt self can be a trauma from your kid stage. It can be a trauma from a previous marriage. It can be anything.
Right.
But you don't want to face all of that trauma. So you keep going around to these females who will give you a quick fix, and you continue to disrespect home, and you continue to make home feel miserable, because home, you don't really want to be there. You're actually running away. You're there in spirit, in flesh, but you're not there in
You're
spirit.
actually running away.
You're somewhere else. And so we as humans have to stop doing things like that. We have to put ourselves first. We have to fix ourselves, and we have to be worthy, like say that I am important, I deserve better. If you're in that kind of relationship, if you're not, and you're a low-hanging person, then you need to get yourself out of that situation. So you, who is in this poem, don't continue to abuse me, who is a low-hanging fruit, who is damaged by whatever means, and just need somebody to love me or to say that they love me, But yeah, so
then that's deep. That's deep, and that's deep. That's deep.
well, I try something. I don't know,
Here comes the accent. I knew we were not going to finish the show before when the accents came out. Now, let me ask you this. The first stanza speak about running away from myself. The last stanza refers to running away from you. Which is more accurate based on the context of the rest of the poem?
Well, if you look at the poem, just look at the poem without looking at the poem, of course, you would say that he's running away from, or she's running away from you.
Okay.
Yeah? Meaning the person who doesn't want to let go.
Right.
But if you really look at the poem, the person is actually running away from themselves.
But you can't run away from yourself. Stop, stand up. Can't run away from yourself. Can't run away from yourself. Can't run away.
No, you can't.
That's one of my favorite songs. I cannot imagine how I never made that connection before. I'm gonna leave right here. I'm gonna be singing that song the rest of the night. I'm telling you. But you're saying that, do you think it presents as running away from you, but in real life it is me that I'm running away from?
That's correct. It's you that you're running away from. Yes, yourself. Yes, yourself. You're running away from the pain that you will never get rid of until you fix yourself.
Every man thinketh his burden is the heaviest. Man, you see how you too quick to join the shenanigans, You are too quick to join the shenanigans. All right, man, it was lovely having you. And before I let you go, is there anything else you want to share about the first part of the show? We're talking about getting prepared, making the right decisions, either related to losing a loved one or related to running away from yourself or running away from somebody else.
Well, I did give a summary at the end of the legal part of the show, but I will say it is always good to go back to your asset building portfolio if you have one. And if you don't, you can write it down and create one until you have that. It's always good to get all the things that you have together and look at it and to decide what is it that I need to do with what I have obtained. So when I was living in New York, I was working with a law firm that made me look at life differently. So in the US, it's a weird system that you all live in. It's a credit system, and it's set up to really drain you. Like you will just be working, paying bills, and barely live
Everybody
life.
walking on the high rope. Everybody walking on that wire.
Yes.
That stick that they have to help balance them, like in the circus. Everybody walking on that same wire.
So there is no quality of life when you live there. There is high standard of living where you have a nice home, a beautiful car, but the bills for the home and the car and the taxis and the bus and the truck, and it's always credit cards, this, that. A store always want to give you a card, and you always take it, and you have all these cards and all these expenses, and you're just working and working and going and running and breathless. You are not able to have proper wealth planning exercise.
Mhm.
And so for estate planning, it's good to just stop and get focused on what it is that Martin wants to achieve, so he can have assets to pass on or not. So what I did experience in that law firm was something tragic, right? A family had a home for like 28 years in New Jersey, and the mother died, and then the father passed, and the bank took the house. The bank took the house because the kids were not able to continue paying the mortgage.
Wow.
That was my first experience with how the system works. Now, my lesson from that was that could never happen to me. No, it would never, because I am going to get a life insurance policy for my house. I'm going to get a policy for death for my mortgage. So if I should pass, my kids will be able to get the house at least that we're living in. The bank is not going to put them out. We're on the road. We have to go and live in some place that we don't want to be in. And so the things, just the small things that we take for granted, and sometimes we just don't know, And how much is it for a policy like that? Maybe $40 US. But we just don't stop to think about how do we plan our asset building or for our estate for our children, and those information they're not passed on just like that. You have to be in a law firm or in a bank, in a department that deals with estate planning for you to understand the implication of not protecting your assets.
Yes, that's the gospel.
That is in relation to law. In relation to running away, I would say that we must always be able to walk away from situations that do not make us happy. Just as simple as that. If we're not happy, leave it alone, move on, pack up your marbles. Listen, can I tell your viewers?
Tell them.
Just one thing about me. So I had 4 homes, 2 cars, and I was married for 15 years. And at 40, I'm 45 now. At 40, I walk away and leave everything. Every single thing. I did not fight with him. I did not fuss. I walk away. When I walk away, I had nowhere to live. I had no cars, nothing. And I did it. I walked away because my happiness was paramount. It makes no sense dying in a relationship because of assets or children. Your kids are going to grow up and they're going to get married and they're going to be like, bye, mom, bye, dad. And you're going to be in that house miserable as hell. And so I did. I walked away and I start over. And I'm happy.
And no one can take that away from you.
So if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Ven, boy, oh boy. I don't know, boy. I don't know. Why did I have to twist your arm to be on the show? Look at the fun we've had. Why did I have to twist your arm? Why do I have to twist your arm to get you on the show? All right, we have a question.
I don't like.
But look how well you did. Look how well you did. Anyways, I have one question for you. It says, what about the situation where the will was not changed and both beneficiaries are deceased? Who gets control?
Okay, great question. So there in our jurisdictions, I'm hoping that they're asking that question in Jamaica.
Okay.
So in our jurisdiction, there is a legislation called Intestate Estate and Property Charges Act. That legislation governs when there is no will. Okay? However, if there is a will and the beneficiaries pass, it's as if there is no will, right? Because the named persons in the will are not able to get what they are supposed to get. So two things can happen. One, the children of the beneficiaries in the will who has passed, or the spouse of who is in the will has passed, would get the benefit of what was supposed to be theirs.
Okay.
So that legislation will govern how it would share. Yeah? So that's what would happen. Their interest wouldn't just write off. Yeah? The beneficiaries. So if it is a sister or a brother that was in the will that has passed, the children and the wife of the sister and the children and the wife of the brother or husband or whoever, they would benefit from the will. But then it would act as if there is no will. So you'll have to do letters of administration with will annexed. So the court will understand how the sharing is supposed to happen. So that's the answer to that.
All right. And I think they got it now. They say, oh, look like them find out now. Paul Goodburn saying, God bless you and peace, my dear. Yeah, Venice Star. And now y'all know. I know, but now you know. All right, Venice Williams-Gordon. It's been lovely. I had so much fun. That reading of the poem kind of took all the cakes and the icing and the wine. I'm probably too hot, girl. But anyways, I thank you for taking the time out, my dear, and all the best with everything you got going on. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Take
Have
care.
a good night.
Yep. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the ball game. That is the ball game, and that was a lovely show. If you ever know how much I have to twist this lady's arm to get her on the show, you know, for when we want her for the show, twisting of arms, I say. But it was a good show. I hope y'all enjoyed it. We'll be back. I have some good guests coming for y'all. You see, next week's show gonna be lit. The week after that gonna be lit. The week after that gonna be lit. I have a nice long line of shows coming for y'all. I have some really great guests that are going to talk about some really, really awesome things. But thank you for joining the Even People show. If you have not yet liked or subscribed the YouTube channel, it's the Martin Matthews Project on YouTube. On Facebook, it's also the Martin Matthews Project. If you don't yet have a copy of the book, this side. It's called Love Life Confrontation Expressions, Selections from the Chronicles of a Black Man. It's available in Fontana pharmacies in Jamaica. It's available worldwide on Amazon.com. I appreciate y'all. I really do. But when it's time to go, I be like...